Don't know, but we are live. How are you, everyone? So good to see you. I know that, excuse me, I'm actually doing three things at one time, but hey, what the heck? Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And boy, I'll tell you what a day it's been. Welcome to my guest, Trina. How are you doing?
Hi, Wayne.
Good to see you again. And I'm just trying to get everything. I mean, I feel like I'm doing a oil change and tuning the engine up at the same time driving it. You ever feel like that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's weird.
Multitasking. Everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that, you know that. So let me just invoke favor upon everyone today. May favor find you. May favor bring forth to you a joy, and may it find you compatible and abide with you for always. May there be nothing missing, nothing broken found in your life, and complete restoration. So that's what we do here. We just we don't get mad. We don't get even. We just invoke favor.
Mm-hmm.
So, Miss Trina, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. How is your week?
Here. It's been busy and it's hot.
Yeah. How hot is it?
103, 101, 110. Yeah, bouncing around.
Right before you and I went live, we were talking about what you did in your past and mine, where I was in the video and film industry. Anyway, we did a convention every year in Las Vegas called the Video Software Dealers Association, and it was back in that time where all the releases were being planned on VHS. That tells you how far it goes back. Mm-hmm. Anyway, as you well know, back in the 90s, Las Vegas, in the end of July, that was a hot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I actually remember going from the old convention. Yeah.
It's the same.
Yeah. And walking in a suit, I remember from the Hilton to the convention center, you would literally, the pavement was melting under your feet. Yep. So true story. We came out of, there's a great restaurant down there at the Four Queens and called Hugo Cellar. Anyway, we cut out at about almost midnight, and I mean, it was still 106 degrees.
Yep.
Yeah. So we get this taxi cab, and the woman, what a delightful spirit she was. And, she's mucking it up with all of us. And I just said, it's just damn hot out here. And she says, yeah. She said, but let me tell you something, mister. Try sticking your head in a microwave and see how hot it is. But anyway, so you like the hot weather?
Yeah. Better than cold.
Yeah.
Seems like, I've been born and raised, so maybe I just don't. I've never acclimated to anything else. So.
True.
Just used to it. Yeah, very used to it.
Always the Southwest?
Always.
Okay. Well, it's in your blood, girl.
I've never, always born and raised in Arizona, Phoenix area. So literally a true Phoenix, Arizona, born and raised. There's not many of us, but yeah, I'm one.
So this points out, ladies and gentlemen, there's 145 plus watching. It shows how diverse we are as a species. And yet, because, it's normal for you to see 100 degrees in the summertime.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For me, it's like, I'm going to do the old vampire cross thing. I mean, I'm out there.
Yep. I worked 14 hours on a beer cart back when I was in college, and it was 122 degrees.
At a golf course?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So two things. I like golf, but no one should be playing golf when it's 120 degrees.
It's crazy they do, because you get half price because it's so hot. They think you're insane to go. So yeah, lots of people go to these really good courses because it's half price.
And
Yes.
I hope you got good tips. That's all I got to say, because
Oh yeah, they see the beer cart coming, they drop to their knees, and they start to worship you. Yeah, it's kind of funny because I got ice in my cooler.
I love it. I love it. You see, folks, that's what life is about. Because, you know, I've played a lot of golf, and you really like the beer lady. I mean,
Yes,
yeah, you really do.
yes. It
Mhm.
was a fun job. It got me through college. I loved it.
I was in Sacramento, and I played golf in August, and I think it hit 109 that day. You know what I learned from that lesson?
What?
You need asbestos gloves, number one, to pick up the freaking golf clubs because they brand you. I mean, what freaking moron go? And I mean, seriously, the balls.
Yeah,
We
I know.
had a guy, he hit the damn ball like, you know, it was like a rocket. He literally hit the ball out of the covering
Oh, wow.
because it was that hot. Because he,
Yep.
yeah,
He's like, I'm going to the shade.
yeah. I
Yeah.
tell you what, we are interesting creatures, are we not?
Yes, we are. And we love games. We love to play.
Yes, we do.
We do.
There is a philosophy that says that we are all gods, and that what we have immersed ourselves into is a game.
Yes.
We've stripped ourselves of our memory. We've stripped ourselves of our divinity. We stripped ourselves of memory, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we love to see what happens. What do you think about that?
That sounds like truth. Yeah, that just
Interesting.
sounds like, yes, that would, it would seem to me that that would be the way that the creator would understand itself, would to put its consciousness into its creations so it could experience itself through its creation.
Mm,
So, and as you know, they say we're the image of God, which means we're pretty much the image of power. So it's a, you know, it's a high level of creation. So within that, that we are images of that force, that means that we hold or possess that intelligence.
I'd have to agree with you on that.
So I
Um,
think that you would need quite a challenge to challenge a creator.
well, you know, and then if you go by the thought that says that each of us have created the environment that we are in, the supposition of that statement alone says that we are creators. Would it not?
Yeah.
I would think so. I'm trying to find your picture, and I can't find it because I wanted to ask you about your. You've seen the Indigo beings, I guess, all your life. Is that what you told me? If I'm remembering correctly. If I'm not, correct me.
Yeah, I only seen them like maybe once or twice in visions.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lemuria, like I think that's where it is, or it was before Atlantis. So I think it's Lemuria. I don't know for sure, or Mu, but there were the indigo bodies, and they were the purple light beings, and
Mm-hmm.
they weren't fully, uh, they weren't solid, they weren't flesh. So, and then there were flesh people too. So there were both. So I remember visions of that from when I was like younger. But then a client of mine, he did a session and he went really deep in and he went to the purple beings too. And then he was talking about them and I was like, yeah, I've seen those. So it's been different things. And then that picture was weird because I was
Yeah,
like,
talk about that.
yeah, you know, I really think it was one of those beings and it was trying to get in the picture like cheese, you know?
A photo bombing
It was,
Indigo. I love
I
this.
think it was because
I love
yeah,
this.
I really do because it was funny because I felt presence in that place. So I called in family and protection. And
Interesting.
and I think that might have been one of my family.
You know, when I was doing putting this the program together, it's really interesting. I put a PowerPoint together, and I'll just share it with all of us, talking about the different type of species that I think inhabit this
Wow.
known world. And in the research that I'm looking at now, from the military stance, they say that there is over 57 different species here on Earth. In the metaphysical world, we have the indigo people, we have the crystal people, and apparently the rainbow people. Any
Yep.
of this familiar to you?
Yes. Very familiar.
Well, commentary. Let's talk about this. The indigo
Um,
people.
apparently, I'm a blended because the indigos didn't come in till not too long ago. I guess they started coming in. Like
It's
I said,
about 1960 is what I read.
yeah, and I think that like we started coming in from different systems from the call at that point. For whatever reason, it seems like that was the first wave of the people that were supposed to come in to help the transition of the planet. And it was like a saving, like a rescue mission. So, and we were up for a challenge. So I'm pretty sure that's how we got here, was through contracting to go in and do this mission. And yeah, so apparently I was one of the first waves of the incoming indigos, being a 1970 baby. They started about 10 to 15 years prior to that coming in.
Interesting.
So we were like the first ones, and they really started coming in the 80s, and then the crystals in the 90s, and now the rainbow children. Those are the most current.
Yeah, and it kind of, if you dissect this, it obviously indicates, something on a cosmic level.
That's exactly what I think. I think it's light, and the light codes the DNA different.
Interesting. There's actually an article that I found today that this is from a scientist, says that we should speak to our DNA, our genetic code.
I've seen that, and I've seen it heal people.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I literally have witnessed people talk to their DNA and heal things in their body.
I agree with you. I talk to my body every day.
That's so smart, Wade. That's so smart.
I do. I lay hands on myself and I speak to my DNA. I speak to my genetic code.
And I'm telling you, I think the water, I think might be like the Holy Spirit.
It's empowering.
Yeah. So like you do that in the shower. I'm like, you're in the water, you're doing that. That's crazy powerful stuff. That's like baptizing yourself every day.
It is. It kind of really is. I mean, it's the principle.
Yeah, doing it the right way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Right?
I think so.
The right way. Yeah.
So I found this. We all know about the tetrahedrogram. I think that's how we pronounce that, where it is in the Yazira, the Zephyr, that we have the 10 points of creation. But I think that as we begin to look out and expand, as you can see by this representation, Trina, it encompasses virtually every thought, virtually every, I think, philosophy of origins.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the very top, it brings into focus the origins of the seeds of where we came from.
You know what I see when I look at that?
Tell me.
A human head.
Interesting.
I see the human head right there. Like the throat, I see the orange is the mouth, I see the eyes, and I see it all coming up to the crown. I see a human head.
Very interesting. I love that perspective. That's far out.
That's what I see. I mean, full
That's
on.
beautiful.
I see a face staring at me. I'm like, whoa.
Well, I see that often. One of my observations in my studies of, comparative religions, now in the magic understanding, is that when I see this, I understand that our origins are still a mystery to us. And you see, I kept on saying for 2,000 years, we have no new knowledge. Come on. I mean, it doesn't make sense that you have periods of man's development, depending on how you look at it, to where we suddenly had enlightenment. Then we had regression. We actually had darkness, the dark ages. And it would only follow, Trina, I think, that there would have to be new revelation if, in fact, we're ascending.
I would too. And that was like one of the things that I remember that I was supposed to be part of coming here to this incarnation was, excuse me, you know, the whole, there's nothing new under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
I was told that we were here to create something new and that had never been done before. So it was kind of a big deal and they didn't know if we would be able to do it, but I really think that we're doing it. And I think like the light workers that started building the crystalline grid like 20 years ago, all of this stuff is starting to connect. I see it all coming together. And so we might accomplish this. So if we accomplish this, what we'll do is we'll be bringing basically all of this into a positive charge. So it literally could be like the placebo effect of seeing a body heal. You'd start to see the whole world transition into one that was more harmonious and loving and just more in accordance with the flow of spirit rather than the primal beast nature part of us that we're running right now.
I love that. Now, you do notice that these are the planets that make up the 10 points.
And, you know, I see that those control our head. So that totally makes sense to me. I'm like, yeah, that totally makes sense.
Very cool observation. So I found this really interesting. In the big four religions, they all seem to share one piece of ancient star map. Today, we have those within the cross from Orion, those of the one that I think we're actually moving out of, which has been Taurus, which is the crescent moon. Then you have Sol, which leads all the way over to the Menor, which is the Pleiades. Isn't this interesting?
Yeah.
And it's expounded even more. So we have the cross, the crescent, and the Menor. Three historical monarchs type of the empire split the star map secret into three parts. And, you know, in this particular case, what they're trying to say is that it was to hide the equilibrium that we had, the equality, the truth of what
I just heard it created the dark trinity.
Oh, fantastic, Trina.
I'm like, wow.
I had not, I'm going to write that down. That is.
Yeah, by the division, instead of it being in its wholeness and its perfect balance, it created the disturbance and the bad frequencies and the terror and the horror and the separation of like being a mom separated from its child. It was, yeah, it would create a dark trinity because the powers are still present, but it would be in anguish.
How interesting. That goes, you see, that dark trinity. Ooh, there'll be revelation coming on that.
Yay!
Yeah. So many may already know about this, but there is a philosophy out there called oneism, that we are all on this. It never ends. In fact, it's so far beyond time. Time doesn't even play relevancy. So this chart here shows, Trina, we all come from creation itself. Mm-hmm. Now, there is something on this other side we don't know, but for us over here, it seems to be a journey that when you look at this kind of brings it a little bit more. So a person born on Earth begins the journey back. They have our sun that we're born under. This sun leads to other suns, other solar systems, other life experiences. We continue until we hit the core of our Milky Way, that we have experienced all these other galaxies out here. This then throws us into, as life energy spirits, into other galaxies, other dimensions, other forms of reality. And as you can see, as we get closer to the center of creation, we actually become unified into one energy pulse. And as you can see, the journey begins on the other side of what we call the invisible galaxies or antimatter.
I can totally see that that would be, yes.
Is that far out?
That's what I've always kind of been seeing. Remember I told you I saw an eye inside of an eye, inside of an
Yeah.
eye, inside of an eye. Yeah, that's exactly what I saw. It's so hard to put these concepts into words. So that graph right there, it's like, bam, that's awesome. I like it because it so resonates with what I saw.
It resonated with me as well.
Yeah, and you know, it's so funny when you showed the Torah and the creation point, you're like, what's on the other side? The other side, it's an identical copy.
I happen to think that because if it's
Yep, that's what I see. They showed me it's that's how it goes to two. That's how the one can become the two, because it's got the opposite image on the opposite side of polarity.
far out, and that's
It's got the reflection. Yeah, it's got the image. It's got it. It's the identical match.
yes. This is kind of where I have been seeing it more and more, because when you take the big picture, and I put this one up here, when I look at when I leave this life, this temporal plane that I am, all of us do, I look at this and I said, all right, if there's a cycle, it can't be just on Earth alone.
No.
I can't see that, Trina.
No, I don't think so either.
This is beyond my capacity. So,
The way I
Wait.
see it is it's like, okay, like Earth is like one little synapses inside of a neural network of a brain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one little point, one little tiny little spark inside of a big huge brain, and we're on top of that one little point inside that brain.
Yes. Yes. Precisely. You know what this depicts, right?
Yeah.
The firmament.
Yep.
And that when a soul, a spirit, goes and pushes beyond the firmament that we call this reality, look what lays behind us. There is this exactly what the last graph showed in a much more modern tense.
Yeah.
It never
More
ends.
universes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when I found the indigo, I found a prayer that did you know that there was a prayer?
You know, I studied and researched the indigos, oh God, 20 years ago. So I really don't remember.
I found this one I loved it. I resonated with it. It goes, Great Spirit, I wish to forgive and release all people I have judged or condemned, even those who have tried to dominate the indigenous peoples, the healers, the wisdom keepers, all the light bearers who had to hide their true natures. I see the people of the earth fell asleep for a while, and now I hear them waking. Please forgive me for forgetting that this is a dream. Help me remember this upon waking. Thank you.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
That is just beautiful.
The last part, help me remember that this is a dream.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Wayne, I've been shown that. I saw my sleeping beauty inside of a snake, and it was all symbology, but it was still, I have a sleeping twin. So I'm projecting this from my sleeper. Where's my sleeper?
Where is your sleeper?
Yeah, the first mission I got when I get, I'm a recollect, figure out what's going on. And then next mission is find self.
Ooh, girl.
Yeah, find self.
I love it.
Going to find self. I got to go find self. That's why they say know thyself, know thyself. Everything is about, everybody wants you to go out instead of going in. Oh, I think we got to find ourselves.
And for me, that first step was literally the attitude of gratitude for consciousness.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wayne, think about it too. What do they call Sleeping Beauty? Aurora.
They
And what comes
do.
out of the earth? The aurora borealis.
Yeah.
And what I tell you, I think our crystals are inside the earth that hold our consciousness. There's something to this. There's something to getting stones and finding self.
We're going to get Karen and all of us all together on this. And by the way, these are some of the signs if you're wanting to know if, you are an indigo child. Apparently, this soul of mine, people say I have an old soul, but I tell you what, I don't see it as old. So speaking of what you just said, so I love this. Go inwards, find your inner space, breathe in, observe the silence, breathe out, experience the silence, feel the explosion of light like a whirlwind rapidly flowing in and out. One moment you are in the old world, the next on the new earth. Feel your greatness, feel the infinity to create something new. Close your eyes for a minute, breathe into your silence, and lift the veil to create.
Oh, see, that's my vision that I saw when I was a little girl, and I saw the world end, and it freaked me out, and it was the best thing ever.
Well, that's exactly what you were describing when we first came on here.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the earth pop and a new one came, and it was like it was the most amazing thing ever. And that would be a full healing of the planet.
Wouldn't it though?
Yeah, and that would be like the placebo effect, like we can do in our bodies. I mean, if we can do it, we learned it from our mother. So
Yeah.
there's no other way around that.
I love this one. It's time to claim your identity as divine beings.
Oh, yeah.
That's like, oh yeah, I got that now. But I just thought that was so. Some of those graphs, the slides were just so spot on.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah,
just beautiful. And they just ring so true.
yeah, they really do. And I often wonder when we have a group as this large. I mean, there's nearly 300 people in here. How many? We seem to be congealing together, diverse parts of this planet, diverse walks of life, and yet we seem to be finding a commonality.
Yes. And that was how we win.
All right, let's talk about that.
I like, I'm a little kid, and the Lord's trying to explain this stuff to me. He's like, remember, you came here to be like Jesus, and it wasn't a person, it was a way.
Mm-hmm.
And that many people, like, we specifically came here to do this. And what did he do? He was a healer.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you Wayne, you participated in faith healings. You know the power of this stuff. It's real.
Still do.
Yeah. So the thing is when enough of us start to know this and know that frequency and witness these things and see them and do them and be a part of it, all of this knowledge, it's all awakening and awakening. So it's shifting our vibration. Look at the Schumann resonance on the planet. There is evidence of that what we're doing is truly having an effect.
Yesterday's episode of Talking with the Planets, there, if anyone doubts that, it's like, it's like everywhere,
Yeah, the amazing information coming from the planets. Amazing.
I tell you, I know this may sound a little bit out there, but I don't care. I do believe they can manifest physically. I really do. I mean, if you got that level of intelligence and the majesty, the power to be a planet, I mean, you're going to tell me that I haven't figured out how the old materialization thing works.
Wayne, I think every single thing fractals out. So
Yes.
a planet would probably also be existing as a human.
Yeah, I do believe that.
I see fractaling down like that. So it would only make sense to me that the fractal, that essence of that being is going to be in many, many things. That's like us. When you look at another person in this world, you might want to be careful because it might be you. It might be one of the parts of your fractal of the spirit that came out. It might be part of you. That's why they say love one another as you would love yourself, because literally there's a big secret teaching behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention. You don't
Franny,
even know who might be looking. You might be looking at yourself in your own eyes and not even know it.
one of our resident college students, Franny, she has said that right before the fall of the Roman Empire, the statue of Jupiter was reported to be gushing blood from his torso.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And when you were talking about fractals, the thought hit me, and it was one of the planets, it was Jupiter, I heard in my head,
Yeah.
said that we can manifest to any species that's out there. They don't necessarily have to be bipedals, which we are. There's anthropods, there's a number of other life forms, and these planets can literally manifest into that form.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me. But perhaps we become planets. You know, Al, it's very interesting you say that. I believe in the road of ascension. I think to achieve a planet status, how long of a lifespan would you think that is, Trina? 5, 6, 10 billion years?
It could be eons, because you could have to sit in the formative unseen form for eons of time before you could even manifest into form.
And why would that be? Because you would have to learn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Loving this. So I pulled up a video that was actually sent to me. And folks, this is Stephen Liz. I left the link to this. I just have to let you listen to this. This is remarkable. You ready?
Yeah.
You're going to love this.
Can't wait.
Make sure that you can hear it. Tell me that you can hear once I get started.
Spiritual
Yep, we
believe in another life.
Yep.
You have to. It teaches you that there is another life. So we can't leave our ancestors. That's home. It's like leaving family. Can't leave our family. Our family is too beautiful and too strong. So we don't want to leave them. Keep ourselves together. In small villages. So the white man comes over from his cities where he's been crippled. From a society that is fear-based because it is patriarchal. See, in a matriarchal society, it's not that women rule. Women don't rule in a matriarch. There's female-male balance. Just as there's female-male balance in the universe, there's female-male balance in all of this life. So who are we, the most humble beings on earth, who are the most vulnerable beings on earth? We're even more fragile than a flower. There's flowers that will grow through snow. Bare, naked. We can't survive in snow bare naked. So here we are, learning to live with the female, because the female teaches men how to nurture. To put it simply, it's much more than this, but there's this balance, and we seek to maintain that female-male balance. And the females live longer than men. Duh! You know? The human female is the only being on earth that's been chosen by the great mystery to be purified with the moon. With the moon. They're purified naturally. My God, we're men. We don't live as long as we know nothing about purification from within. So we have to create our purification rites. Hence the sauna, or the inipi, the purification lodge. So we have this, and they teach men how to nurture. If you don't know how to nurture, then you're going to be afraid. And in that fear, you know, my ancestor, Chief Luther Standing Bear, who wrote a book, first part of this century, called My People to Soothe. And he wrote another book, The Land of Spotted Tail. No, The Land of the Spotted Eagle. I'm sorry, The Land of the Spotted Eagle. And he said, if you don't know the forest, you will come to fear the forest. And what you fear, you will want to destroy. That's patriarchy, because they're out of balance. The first living thing they fear are their women, because they have no understanding of women. Women have this other sense, which the white male calls, what is it called? I lost it.
Intuition.
It's called intuition. That's what he calls it. I call it sacred knowledge. This ability to see things clearly. This ability to feel. And think of the woman, how she goes from a child into a woman who is naturally purified. And she goes through this life rearing children, teaching men how to nurture and be in balance, and then reaches the change of life. And where she becomes the elder that lives longer than men and has this full woman power. Until you know a woman, you'll never know life. And so our ceremonies here on this earth are to celebrate womanhood, to learn minutely. So we go through the ENP, the Purification Lodge, the sauna, so that we can feel, have some little notion of what it's like to be purified. And we go through the sun dance and take our flesh and create the blood, because we want to have a minimal understanding, at least, of what childbirth is all about when she tears her flesh and gives her blood to create life. What is patriarchal societies the world over? I don't care if it's Islamic, Judaic, Christian, Hindu, Buddhist, they're all male gods. I've yet to see a male anything give birth. I'm sorry. So, therefore, it's impossible for them to create. Duh! So come into this full flower of womanhood, and you'll know in indigenous societies, and indeed in all societies, but when an elderly woman speaks, people listen.
So, folks, I've left the link on that. What do you think of that, Trina?
You know, that's what what my intuition has been speaking to me. And that is so beautiful. And that resonates with me so deeply. It like moved me almost to tears. But, you know, I do believe that men have just as much woman in them as we do, because it's in our brains.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe that you guys can purify you just as we do. We're both made differently, but we're both identical. So I think we're just mirrors of each other. So when you connect to, like I said, the divine feminine with you as a man,
yeah,
and so many women, they need to connect to the divine masculine. So it's about balancing the mind. It's not about genders. It's about the laws of nature. And if we can blend those parts of our mind, we're going to enter into the subconscious, and that's where we really can create new realities. Because you know as well as I do, it's all about when all three agree is when you see those miraculous healings take place. And
yeah.
it's because the belief is there, the intention is there, and then it manifests.
You know, what really got me when the chief was speaking is that he pointed out Western culture, Western philosophy. It's out of balance to begin with. And the struggle that we have as Westerners is, how do we find that balance? I mean, in Western culture, it's considered to be emasculated if you somehow elevate the female above the masculine. And you have women who have bought into that as well, and then they feed that, And I think it's why we have the divide of the sexes.
Yeah.
You know,
It's all about division, because if we come together, like I said, game over.
yeah, it really is. It would be.
It really, really is. If we truly come together, it is game over, because everything is meant to put us into fear and to put us into conquer and divide. Do you know that if we just shut down just our military bases across the country, that it would house and shelter every single human being in the United States and part of the world?
Well, just think if the world stopped spending on weapons.
That's what I mean. If they just stopped this for 1 year, it would house and shelter and feed like the whole, almost through half the planet.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's insanity. So like they say, we have lack, we have this. It's all a lie.
I'm going to say something that may shock our audience, but my guide keeps telling me there have been in the past, and Franny, you can probably testify to that, where we have seen cultures, they found what all external evidence would show there was a unity amongst the community. And then the community wasn't there anymore.
Yep.
I contend, Trina, that they found exactly what you were talking. When we can find the blending of the masculine and the feminine, and that they're not considered in roles, but they're merely considered as, I think something can happen. I think you almost would be out of phase with this reality. You would have to phase into another one.
Bingo. That's exactly what would happen.
Thank you.
It's exactly what would happen. Wayne, I don't even know many people that could, bingo. I'm like, whoa, yep, that's exactly what I know. If the vibration gets to a certain point, we can literally go invisible to this realm, just like we can't see ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we could go to a higher dimension. And I think that many of us are here waiting, because when enough of us know how to do it, that way we can all phase together.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I contend that in that process, whatever word you want, you're going to see the others. You're going to start seeing the others that are in a different frequency, a different shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're going to match in vibration. So like attracts like. So in the same realm at that point. Yeah, because it'll be a vibrational match.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a visit the other night. I don't know who it was, but yeah, it was a very interesting presence. And, I love it when I apparently was in some rather lucid dreaming, but when I became aware, literally I saw the I don't know what it was. It was very large, but it literally just walked right out the walls where the street would be coming out there. So, but I asked why before it left, and the thought was planted. As you become more sensitive do you become aware.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now,
sometimes like, shut up, I'm closed for business.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, we got people from all over the world that are in here, and so many, but one of the things that I know about the Southwest culture that you had to be probably exposed to was a lot of Native Americans. And tell me if I'm wrong, and I'll let you talk to this, but the Southwest, that area in there is considered to be very magical, very spiritual. And you have a mountain right there, I believe, right?
Oh, we've got several, Wayne, several.
Okay. Let's talk about this.
Well, we've got Sedona, Arizona. The energy there is off the hook. We've got the Grand Canyon, which I believe was created from a plasma event.
Yeah.
We've got the meteor crater. So
that's true.
Have a meteor impact is powerful. When you look across this valley in Phoenix, if you get up high and you look across the valley and you look in all different directions, half the mountains are in the shapes of pyramids.
My.
Yeah. Yeah, Superstition Mountains is one of the most.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah,
I hiked that one.
Appearances, the UFO activity. They don't know what's going on out there, but people die. They just disappear. I mean, it's crazy. You know, like the national forest, weird stuff that happens.
We took peyote. Well, we had a medicine man with us, and the peyote cactus grows out there, or
yeah.
did.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be very careful with it, because if you don't do it right, you're going to end up dead because of the strychnine. But any case, so we did a hike up on Superstition Mountain.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Holy crap, folks. We had lightning bolts that out of nowhere, blue sky, lightning bolts coming down. And excuse me, they weren't coming down. They were actually shooting up.
Wow.
Yeah. And, you know, and I'm thinking it's the peyote, you know.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
You know, and then I'm thinking you had the Phoenix lights too.
Oh yeah, we did. I'm telling you, we see stuff in the skies. If you pay attention, you're going to see stuff here. It's always been this way. Always. Most people just don't ever see it because they never look up.
That's true.
No, they don't.
I had did you see the Phoenix lights? Do you remember that night? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. What was it like? I mean,
you know, it wasn't, I couldn't see it very well. I could only see a couple of them. And the reason I was looking was because I went outside because it was on the news.
Yeah. Everywhere.
Literally live on the news. And then those clips are gone. You can't even find the live news ones. They're like gone. But I was watching it and I was like, whoa. And I went out and I looked at it. I could see part of it. I couldn't see all of it because I wasn't in that area of Phoenix, but I could see part of it because I had a mountain in front of me and the full spectrum of it, but I could see 2 or 3 of the lights. But, you know, but it was weird was because there were black triangles going through the sky that night too. So there was more than just that big ship.
Interesting.
It was a very, busy season. For whatever reason, it seemed like there was massive activity in that little area of time, and then it kind of like flattened out for a while. But yeah, we see stuff here a lot in the skies, a lot.
Wow. Do you ever go out into the desert? Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
think about this too. Our airport is called Sky Harbor.
Yes, it is. Been through that place.
I don't think that's by accident. And this is Phoenix. I wonder if this is Phoenicia, ancient Phoenicia.
Well, now that you mention that, I mean, we're finding odd archaeological artifacts. You know, there's a wall down in Texas that is reported to be, it's now buried, but 70 feet tall, that would cover the square radius of 119 square miles.
Yeah.
I mean,
no way all these mountains are pyramids. That's not natural. There's no way. There's no way. There's too many of them. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. It's retarded. And you know, like how they put the sigils and the symbols in front of you? Like if you're driving on some of our freeways, they have art on the walls. They're showing you the pyramids.
Interesting.
I'm telling you.
And you talk about the sigils. You know, I get emails from people all over the world going, holy crap, you know, it's everywhere. Yeah. And you know, I take a lot of heat sometimes, but we live in I'm telling you, I think the Lord of the Rings had it right. There was a time when Earth was not this same Earth.
I think so too.
You know, they just did the DNA and the mitochondrial DNA on 2 Neanderthal skeletons. One, they had a skull, a jawbone, and a thigh. So they've dated the first one at 120,000 years ago. The other one was near the end of the Neanderthals, about 40,000 years ago.
Okay.
You keep seeing, go ahead.
I think they're even older than that.
I think they are too, and that's what the article was saying.
I think they're way off on that. Way
I
off.
think we go back millions. I don't even think
I do
we.
too. I
Thank
do.
you.
I do too. You know, there was I have no idea if this was true or not, but they have a couple leaked things that I saw on the internet a while back. And one was of a frozen like princess they found in a special coffin. And they were saying that she was like 500,000 years old.
I believe that.
Looked like Sleeping Beauty. She was beautiful and she looked just like normal humans today. She did not look any different. She didn't have elongated skull, or she looked just like we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they found a king too, and he was in one of those special fluid coffins too, and I don't think they could preserve him because the fluid came out or something, and I think as soon as that fluid comes out, they'd like disintegrate or something. So, but yeah, they were preserved in a very special way.
As you were talking, if intelligences exist beyond us, which I do believe they do, and I don't think that the Earth, us sapiens, were the end of all things of a creation. I think we're just a part of a whole bigger picture. But my point is, Earth has been habitable. I don't know how many tens, maybe hundreds of millions of years. I don't see other intelligent life forms just saying, "Oh, we're not going to go down there." I think they've been here all along.
I think that they've been here as soon as the planet was able to sustain it.
I agree.
But I think also, what if there's the potential before all of this, before it was actually brought into matter, was existing and creating and going through timelines and doing all this on a light-based etherical way, where it wasn't in matter, but it was still yet forming the blueprints, the templates through the unseen realm before it goes into matter.
You just got me on another thought. I'm going to explore this even further. All right. So we don't know how many bipedals, let's just say that away, have been here. Maybe humans in some form have been, they know that the DNA they took, there is some of this DNA in the Neanderthal dated back 120,000 years, don't belong here, has no association with Earth. All right. So today we have, they say, 7.5 billion people. The enormous psychic energy that we are producing, I think, is leading to something, because if you take our ancestry, maybe there may have been 1 million, 100 million? I don't know. I don't know if there was 7.5 billion. What I'm trying to say, Trina, is that is a lot of psychic kinetic energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has to be building.
Well, I see the Schumann resonance is changing. It's really, really, I mean, what is it normally like? It's 7.8.
Yeah, 7.8, 7.34, excuse me.
It's been up to like 50,000. I mean, what the heck? That's insanity. So something's definitely happening, and it makes me nervous. Like Jupiter's on its side, and it said it was going through some massive changes. And I do think something's coming in, Wayne. These energy shifts and these changing of we just got into the new age of Aquarius. That means we're probably going into a new region of the cosmos. That means a lot of the things that the planets are speaking about. So this is going to be profound.
I've been thinking more and more when Patrick and I first did that. The first time I got the psychic impression, it's a large mass that was coming in, and it's all on video. People go see it, but there is something coming in. I'm convinced of it. I don't talk about it. I don't look on the fear factor of it, because I am convinced that there is a portion, a remnant of sapiens that have figured this thing out. And when I say figure it out, that it starts within here. And if there's an energy wave, I mean, I think it's going to be like, oh, I know where that was. That in a twinkling of an eye will be gone, right?
Yeah, but like I said, if if that did happen, the whole energy of the planet would go through a shock. Even
I
if,
do believe you.
yeah. So
Mhm.
that could cause the instant transformation that would be needed to shift. So if that did happen, that would be maybe a bad thing. That might be the best thing that could ever happen, because it would literally change the frequency of the planet, and it could go either way.
Lilith said that we've gone through a number of these that
So
literally transformed the entire planet.
I think so.
The book of Isaiah speaks of a time, and I can quote to you, there was a time when no man walked the earth, and the cities, the great cities of the earth, heaved and ho as though they were upon the seas.
Yep. Even in the Bible, it says in the beginning there was tohu vadhu. That means there, it was desolate. The land was desolate. So it was a remaking, a repopulating of the earth, a redoing it again. All those words, if you go to the ancient, it means doing again.
Yeah, and if you believe that the master race lives,
And then I look at the word Genesis, and all I can see in my mind is Gene of Isis.
I love that. I saw that.
It's
Yeah,
like
I
all,
love that.
yeah, it's the craziest thing. So yeah, I really do think this has been done over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, there is, if you take Ecclesiastics, it says that there's nothing new under the sun that has not been known unto man. That which was shall yet be again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Until us, maybe. Just like Woodstock, Wayne.
it's like, no, I'm not coming back. I think I'm.
I mean, we're gonna change everything and
You
flip
know?
it around. Like we're gonna win. We're gonna do good. And yeah,
Yeah.
we don't got to come back no more. But I think we're
Mhm.
supposed to save the planet, because this is a planet worth saving.
If we can just get out the message here amongst us, that where we can get rid of this patriarchal monotheistic viewpoint and begin to open up the consciousness of just on the basic level of, like, folks, I think we can all agree that there are both males and females, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, been around for the very.
And there's everything in between.
Yes, yes. Nature shows that.
Yes. And so do we as humans.
Yeah.
So there's everything in between. We just need to embrace that there's everything.
Yeah. And it's not that difficult to accept. It really isn't. And the first thing starts with, it's the process I do now. You know what I do when I have a negative thought come in? I laugh.
Yeah. It fixes
Trina,
the frequency instantly.
oh, you want to talk about strong magic?
It is. It is, because
Folks.
like Tesla said, it's all frequency and vibration and energy. Once you understand that, and like you said, when you have a negative thought or a negative energy is around or whatever, when you feel the negativity and you dial into that, you identify it. As soon as you identify it, you shift the dial with laughter or good thoughts or joy. If those frequencies, it cancels out the negative one. It's like, well, done, dead.
And the energy forces, and they're dark.
Yeah.
They feed off of that, and they literally are repulsed.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like battery acid or something.
It really is. I mean, it's like drinking. So I'll tell you what it's like. And how many of us know this? So back in the day, I was actually a drywall finisher. I was young. And so I would always get chocolate milk in the morning, out of the cartons.
Mm-hmm.
So when you laugh, when the negative thoughts come in, it's like opening up chocolate milk that's been soured for 3 days. The first thing you're going to do is spit it out.
Yep.
You may upchuck, it might happen. I mean, but yeah. And the first time I did this, Trina, when I saw it literally into the spirit realm, but when I started laughing, it literally was repulsing.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like the laughter, when the sound of the laughter comes out of your body, it's like, nails on a chalkboard for them, because it's so against their signature of their frequency.
It is.
It's literally, literally, like, And really, when you add joy and light together, oh, forget it.
Forget it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I keep on seeing, I have been seeing 111, 1111. It's like everywhere I go, it's like, all right, what's going on here?
That
Well,
means they're paying attention. When I used to see that all the time, I said, "What does this mean?" It says it means the matrix is paying attention.
okay. Peace
Yep.
matrix.
Yep. Yep.
The matrix has you. Like, yeah,
They're watching.
they're watching.
They're watching.
Miss Trina, another hour is come and gone, hon.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. We time travel.
It goes so fast.
Can you come on next week? I mean, I know Thursday is a holiday, but
I'll
we're
let
gonna.
you know. Yeah, we
Okay.
might have to take a week off with the holiday because I don't know what my schedule is.
Yeah, next
But
Thursday
I'll let
is the
you know
4th.
for sure. Yeah, I'll let you
Okay.
know. I would
Okay.
love to. So we'll see what's going on with.
Love to have you on. We're going to have Warrior Queen on next Wednesday, and like to get a group together and do our little fundraiser and just have a good round table. How's that?
Yeah,
Think about it.
absolutely.
Okay, beat this time. All right, stay on. Folks, thank you. I don't know where this hour went. It's like, I'm going to have to go back and reprocess this. It's like, Miss Trina, do you have anything you'd like to say, dear?
Just, I love you guys. I love being on this journey with you. I'm getting a lot of information right now that the energies that are kicking up are trying to initiate some things that we may not want. So with that, we need to be the frequency we wish to receive. Any thoughts of chaos, send powerful focus of balance and harmony, because that's what we need to do right now. For whatever reason is we need to start canceling out some waves so we can calm the sea. So I love you guys, and I love being on your team.
That's as far out. Mother Nature, if you want to come on, you can join us. Just send me your email and we'll invite you on. Miss Trina, stay with us. I love it when you're on. This is just a dynamic hour, just dynamic. And I love it. Folks, thank you all. Be good. Love yourselves. And it's going to allow you to love others much more freely. And I'll see you tomorrow at the same time. All right. Bye-bye.